Hi Scorpio. Yes, it's you guys first today. Um, you guys have been really impatient, but now I understand why. Because at first I was like, why are they tripping out? Like, what happened? But I think it's because I didn't realize that you guys are going through something that not a lot of people know how to explain to you right now because I don't think they understand what you're going through. It's one of those periods where Scorpio hides, but not physically now. You already did that. Now you're emotionally hiding, but it's an intricate and complicated process. Why wouldn't it be? And I don't think that it's easy for someone in astrology or anything like this to explain to you right now something that you're kind of having a hard time even explaining to yourself because usually you're so good at just like knowing who you are and knowing how you feel. But right now, there's just like, I think the reason you guys are so insistent right now is because if you've been looking around and reading and stuff, maybe you're not getting the clarity that you need in terms of like, why do I feel the way I feel? So, what do I think it is? Well, part of the problem may be that see, the first card out is the Sun card. So part of the problem may be that things are going well in many ways, but then there is this internal loneliness because of this overwhelming feeling of being misunderstood. Like, I think that's why so many Scorpios like the readings as well, because a lot of times it's not even about you guys, it's more for people who are trying to understand you, but you guys listen anyway because it's so rare for you to feel understood. And I think that that breeds a lonely sort of person, someone who doesn't feel like they're understood. That's the Strength card in reverse. Okay, and we're going to talk about all this. I'm going to show you the cards first, and then I'm going to do the breakdown, and then I'm going to kind of relate it back to something that I've been thinking about that I wanted to talk to you about. Anyway, so feeling misunderstood, the loneliness that creates, the needing to break out of that, and yet during this beginning of this month, you're not going to be able to break out of it because this Venus retrograde, it has brought a lot of stuff up. Even if you did nothing about it, you've still been feeling the pain of it. Even if you weren't associating it with a specific person, even if you feel that you are already completely over anyone and everyone, and it's not you, it's just the way the planets are. It's not you. You can't help it. I know you guys don't like to hear that, but some things are out of your control, Scorpio. I'm not being mean, and I'm not being stern, and I'm not being distant. I want to talk to you about something that's a little bit touchy, like I did with the Libras as well. And it's interesting because I planned on doing your reading and the Libra reading on the same day. And then yesterday just ran away, and I'm so glad that I waited because today is a super rainy day. It's very gray outside. It's been thundering and lightning, and I think that's kind of perfect because the overwhelming storm of feeling that water signs are feeling right now, you're looking for your feet under you. You're looking for the ground underneath you, for the sandy bottom. And you may not be readily finding that right now. But why? What is it that's breeding this? Because look at the the way these cards transition, we start with like a really great card, but we were already talking about, it seems great, but we're having reservations. And then it's like, yeah, we feel strong, but something's off, right? It's like, it's good, but something's off. And then, so part of what I think happens with Scorpios who aren't maybe old enough yet, but really age doesn't apply to you guys. Like, you could be 15 and be super, super wise, but if you haven't really found yourself, or you have distracted yourself from who you really are for a long time or anything like that, then you may not realize that sometimes what you're feeling is a premonitory feeling. You're feeling anxious in anticipation of something that your subtle senses have already picked up on, but that you haven't, your prefrontal cortex hasn't processed it yet, but your back brain already knows that it's going to happen. So I think there might be a little bit of that going on, because again, the way the transition of these cards looks, the Sun is great. The Strength, even in reverse, it's not so bad, I mean, sure, there can be some negative implications, but now all of a sudden you put it up against this, and, well, yeah, that's something to look at now. So what are we looking at? When someone is too strong, right? Let's start here. Everything is great in some measure, and with a certain amount of frugality and a certain amount of temperance, right? When, oh shit! Sorry, I didn't mean to curse. Okay. Everything is a certain amount, requires a certain amount of temperance. And if you do things out of that balance, you see, let's look at her. When you do things out of this balance, that's what she's doing, transferring that stuff from cup to cup. She's evening it out, okay? When you are not tempered in anything, you will err on the side of excess. And if you do that, you will pay for it. Now, whether you call that being punished by God, or whether you call it your karma coming back to you, or if it's just, the second law of thermodynamics working on you. The energy you put out is coming back to you because it can't be created or destroyed. However you look at it, whenever you are out of this homeostasis or this temperance, you're going to incur this sort of event in your life. And in your particular case, what is this? I have a theory. And I'm not going to force these cards. I'm going to take one more card as an outcome card because I think it's pretty clear where we need to go with this conversation and with this reading. I think that temperance thing that just happened is, it's always really nice when stuff like that happens, because I think it's important for you guys and for me to know that what we're doing is part of something larger and is reflective of something larger. So that was cool. So I'm going to shuffle for one more card as an outcome card for the month, and then I'm going to tell you what I think that the Strength card in reverse is about, and where it is that this Temperance card can apply to your life, especially this month where you will be tested. Having a Mercury retrograde in your house of relationships and having Mars in that same house at the same time. So one is holding you back and the other is itching to go and fight, it's gonna hurt. If you have someone in your life that will, rub you down with orange blossom oil and feed you and, put Netflix on for you, go to them because you're going to need them. You need someone to comfort you because it's going to be painful. You're going to want to express yourself so bad and you'll have so much to say and so much feeling behind it, but Mercury's not going to let you. And so this sequence of cards takes on many meanings. Your strength being used against you. Where? How? Notice that there aren't other people coming up in this reading, unless it's the very obvious that the sun and the strength is about a Leo who you're involved in something pretty crazy with, because it's the Tower and him or her in reverse. And so barring that very specific situation, there's no other people here. So that's what I mean about a lot of people in this field perhaps are not able to give you something this month to hang on to because they may not know, because no one is coming up in this reading aside from you. I mean, 4 cards. Okay, there's nobody else here because this month isn't about anybody else. It's about you. Even having this Mercury retrograde and Mars in the house of relationships, it's not going to be so much about those past relationships. Even if someone is coming back into your life, it's going to be about you and how you handled it and what you took away from it. But also I think you're going to be hard on yourself about what you didn't learn. Maybe the mistakes that you're still making. Oh, good. All right, well, 2 cups and then 3, can't be mad at it. From a state of harmony to a state of celebration and sometimes interpreted as indulgence. Okay, I'll take it because it's a welcome change from this. You do need some celebrating and you do need some joy in your life. It starts off well, it ends well. The bottom of the deck looks good, although there is some, Mercury retrograde frustration here. Mercury and Mars like trying to push for room in the same little house, right? But a fairly good outcome. This can be contained. It won't turn you too far upside down. You can contain this, and there can be some damage control here because it's going to come up, because you're going to have this, your strength being used against you. Now, see, to me, that's really vague, okay? Like, what do I mean, your strength being used against you? I could just leave it there and you could take what you want from it, right? And interpret it however you want. But I don't think, excuse me, I was just drinking some water. I don't think that that's enough for you guys. And I think you deserve more than that. And so I'm going to tell you what I think. So that's your reading, okay? So what do I think this is, and what did I want to talk to you guys about? All right. I think where your strength is used against you can be very well explained. There. Can be very well explained by a concept. Again, this is something I spoke about yesterday in the Libra video. In a Jungian concept. So Carl Jung, a contemporary of Sigmund Freud's. Super cool, and did a lot of work with archetypes and the greater subconscious, dreams, myths, all this good stuff. He came up with this idea of the anima and the animus. And the way it goes is that within every manly macho man, there resides a very sensitive, very female counterpart And that is the person who's really driving. And within every woman who is super female and super soft and receptive and timid and, I don't even know how to do the posture for timid. I don't even know what the F that looks like. No, I guess, what does that look like? No, that looks like a crazy person. Within every woman who is the quintessential receptive female, open, resides a hard as steel male counterpart who is actually running the show and is quite cold and removed and rational and able to cut people off at their feelings. Now, how does that apply to you guys? That doesn't really apply. But here's the thing, the converse applies too. So what do I mean? So by the same token, a woman who is very hard, a woman who is very male, a woman who is very direct, a woman who is very rational, her animus, right? Her counterpart internally is that soft, receptive, open, vulnerable female. And by the same token, any man who is extremely sensitive, moody, quick to anger, temperamental, inside is controlled by someone who is actually very hard and very not up and down, up and down. So if a man who is super macho, which a lot of you guys are, excuse me, can't stand that, didn't come off, so annoying, can't have that happen to me. I'm sorry, I have a thing about hangnails. Can't have it, can't do it, can't do it, it has to come off right now. Done, sorry. It's a thing with my hands. Oh, people have been asking why I don't get my nails done ever, because there's formaldehyde in nail polish. And so when they cut your skin right here, it's one of the easiest ways to get things into your bloodstream. And then what goes into those little cuts, because it's just been done, is formaldehyde. And there are actual studies that show how formaldehyde is actually a hormone disruptor. It's an endocrine disruptor. And so it causes fluctuations in mood in females. So anyway, sorry, I had a hangnail. So if a man is super macho and really hardcore, then his core, conversely, is really soft. And if he's really soft and moody and temperamental on the outside, he's usually pretty strong on the inside. Now, how does that apply to you guys? I tell you that because I think sometimes you guys take it too far. You guys just be doing the most in terms of that macho thing, okay? And then it's just a signal that that person, that soft counterpart inside the anima, is actually really, really vulnerable and perhaps hurting over something, which is why the converse is coming out so obviously, okay? But I feel like last month's reading was a lot about Scorpio men, so I actually want to focus on Scorpio women. So a lot of times what will happen is that Scorpio women will come off as being intimidating, or men will be intimidated by them and their strength. And they can be seen as a little bit male, not in a bad way, just, of course not in a bad way. What's bad about men? Men are great. But just, male. And a lot of Scorpio women find it difficult to meet someone who is comfortable with their strength, comfortable dating a strong woman like that. And I think that a lot of times you can say to yourself, well, if I just wasn't so strong and if I wasn't so hard, maybe I would have an easier time. Maybe it would be better for me. Maybe it would be easier for me. And the thing is, I think for the men, there are times when Scorpio men, they exert their strength in the wrong ways, and it's because that inner soft anima is hurting. But in women, I think that you guys feel bad about being strong and brave like that, even though you're really proud of it, but you feel bad for it, not in terms of like you feel bad or embarrassed in front of the world, but you feel bad as in like, I love the way I am, but it sucks the results I'm getting. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks that people don't value how strong I am. And I think that can turn on you a little bit, and you can feel a little bit like, maybe I should be more timid. Maybe I should be more girly. Maybe I should be more, and what I'm telling you is, according to Jungian psychology, actually, no, you're doing it completely right, because what it means is that the animus within you is this soft, receptive, really passionate woman. And that's the bee's knees, Yes, I said bee's knees. Wasn't there a store like on Broadway, like back in the day in the Village, called the Bee's Knees, where we used to get sneakers, remember, by the McDonald's, by the train station? Let me know if you're from New York in the 90s, like by Astor. Wasn't there a store called Bee's Knees with the dope sneakers? Is it still there? I want to go there. I'm going to go there later. I don't even know why I'm going there. Like, I'm going to go all these places later, even though I have to get on a flight at 7 a.m. tomorrow to go to San Francisco. So I think that because you are coming up on a time where your internal life is going to be highlighted, and you are going to go through this not really dark night of the soul, nothing like that, but getting your priorities together and understanding yourself a little better as you jump off into this year even deeper, I think it will help you to understand and bring you to a place of joy within yourself, to know that the balance that you have going between the external and the internal is quite good and quite healthy. And although that may leave you, as long as you can maintain that balance, okay? Like, as long as you know that being hard on the outside is because you are soft on the inside. And if you let that part of you that's soft on the inside get too hurt, the part of you, the hard part of you on the outside is going to get really, really spiky, So that play between your anima and you is something, I think, in a Scorpio's life that's vital. And I think it's something that you would even benefit from reading more about, or, get an audiobook on Jungian's idea of the anima. There's so much literature that you can get your hands on, in this realm. And I think if we're talking like this about temperance and then inevitable celebration, when you guys figure out, that out of all the signs, if there's anyone who can integrate this, supernatural metaphysical concept and run with it, it would be you guys. You'll have no problem with it. But just checking that inner sensitive person this month, because that person, that inner sensitive being, is going to feel a bit rocked. And you will have to be the external voice of reason for that internal part of you that's going to freak out and want to lash out, and keep the boat steady, because otherwise that inner you is going to get knocked off balance. Okay? Knocked off balance. And it's like, the cards are like, don't worry, it'll be all right. But it's your job, man. You got to do it. You got to come with it. You got to look at yourself and say, okay, right now you want to kill this person, or right now you want to cry your eyes out, or right now you want to give up, but you can't. You need to get it together. Get up. Like I tell my Scorpio, when he was like 19, 20, he used to like couldn't handle alcohol at all, and he'd end up like in the hallway drunk, like sitting on the step, and I'd be like, get up. Like he'd just show up. Hi, Amber, get up. Like, get up. You know, you guys are the ones that need someone sometimes to be like, up, get up, let's go, you know. So right now you're going to have to do that for yourself. Or like I said, find if you have someone who can comfort you and cook for you and, you know, do things to you. Do go to them, do things with them, because you're going to need some comfort, but don't lash out at them, you know, because you are going to feel like lashing out at people. But you're coming up on such a great time, you know, after this internal work, after this month really makes you focus hard on these different spots where you have to work out a balance, you know, like Libra, between this internal and external. After you get the hang of it and you stop feeling like you're in free fall, then it's going to be awesome. Then it looks super good. And I think it's going to continue this way throughout the summer. And I think you're going to have a really good summer, actually. I have a feeling that you guys are going to really enjoy yourselves this year. So don't worry. That thing no one is able to explain to you right now, it's because you're doing heavy inner work and you've retreated inward without knowing it was happening. And maybe you were feeling really good and maybe it just kind of hit you all out of nowhere. Like, why am I being this reticent person now? It's okay. It's because it's time for you to do some internal work. It's not going to be very long and it's not going to be all that painful. Hopefully the way I've explained it gives you a little more comfort and a little more insight. One of the other ways that I can explain it to you, if you're still kind of confused on the concept, and perhaps sometimes it is good to have, you know, an image or an archetype of some sort to visualize and have as your hero, or like Tony Robbins says, find someone in history that you want to be like, and then read everything about them, get to know everything about them, emulate them, you know. So one of the examples I can give you for the anima and the animus and how that works, at least in terms of men, because the movie is about a man, is my favorite movie, Dead Man. So in Dead Man, Johnny Depp, which is a movie by Jim Jarmusch, it's a black and white movie. It's actually one of the only American films that is in the Paris Library, and it is, or was until 2009 at least, the only Hollywood film that had been made from the Native American perspective, and it's deeply important to me. And I'm not going to talk about that stuff too much at all, because I can't, because my heart just goes. So, yeah, let's not do that. So, Johnny Depp plays a mild-mannered accountant from Cleveland named William Blake. Fantastic. I mean, this is fantastic writing. So he plays a man named William Blake, and William Blake, this mild-mannered accountant, ends up turning into what is construed by the government by the end of the film as a ruthless killer of men, women, and children. But actually, as his Native American partner tells him, his Native American partner named Nobody, existential gold, he says, now, you were a poet, he says to him, because he's referring to William Blake. He's referencing him to the larger archetype of William Blake, the poet. And he says, you were a poet and a painter, and now you are a killer of white men, and now your poetry will be written in blood. So that mild-mannered accountant, over the course of an hour and a half, becomes that man that he's talking about. Badass. And every Halloween, since I can remember, I have dressed up as Dead Man from that movie. And I will do the November videos on October 30th and October 31st, and you guys will go first, and I'll do them in the Dead Man costume. I'll do them in the Halloween costume. I know you guys love that stuff. So yeah, that is a very artistic and highly stylized but deeply moving look at how this other side of you. So in that case, it was his sensitive, really meek, timid side that existed. And it turns out on the inside, he was made of steel. You know, by the end of the movie, this bumbling, meek accountant who gets yelled at by people all the time, and it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You know, by the end of the movie, he gets shot, and he just looks at it, and he's like, and he takes his gun out, and he's like, you know, like, so the person who was so soft and so meek and so timid and so, you know, beautiful on the outside turned out to be a killer. You know, and that crossover, because he's not really a killer, he's a hero. He's a hero, you know. I think you guys would benefit from that. And I think that place of hero, that mix of this dark and light that you guys do so well, keep messing with it. Keep messing with these cups. Find that temperance. Obviously, it's the card of the reading for you, right? You'll be all right. And just understand that when this Tower and Temperance is over and this Strength card is back like this, okay, then it's time to celebrate, man. Okay? All right, so that's your reading. I will be in San Francisco from April 1st to the 8th, and from the 12th to the 19th, and I will be in LA from the 8th to the 12th. I will be doing readings in all of those places. However, I have to tell you that I have almost no spots left. So I'm sorry about that. And yeah, but reach out to me, email me. If I can find a way to fit you in, I will. And then I'll be doing readings for 10 days in New York. And there's a lot of people who want to do readings in New York. And I'm sorry that I'm so busy when I'm in New York. And generally, I'm not taking on new clients. But in the 10 days when I come back from LA, from San Francisco, I've decided that I will do only new clients. I'll take only new clients. And just try to get as many people in those 10 days in that I can, so you guys don't feel, you know, some type of way. And then I will be in Denmark from May until August, but I will be traveling here and there. I may hit Cyprus and I may hit London. If you're in London and you would like to do, if you would like me to, because it's like a half an hour flight for me. It's like $100 half an hour flight for me. So if you guys get a group of people together who all want to do readings, you can coordinate in the comments, get each other's emails, whatever, and, you know, give each other's Instagram handles, go on there and talk to each other however you want to do it. But if you guys can arrange a group of people, I'll come out there. Also, I have a book coming out in the spring. It's called The Tarot of Inner Work. So basically the stuff we do here, where we look at the tarot cards and we relate it back to a greater psychological understanding and perhaps a more sophisticated understanding of archetypes, perhaps I would dare say even a scientific look at some of this stuff. This will all be further explained in detail in a referential form that you can open and look at, or go in an ebook and look at, or go on an Audible, on an audiobook and listen. I'm going to narrate it myself, so go and listen to it and have all these different modalities for healing that I've come up with based on using tarot as a way to facilitate inner growth and find out more about yourself. You know, how to really read for yourself, but not with the intention of knowing the future. And I'm not scoffing at that. I just deeply believe that if you know yourself really well, you stop wondering about the future because you become very adept at creating it. And so while I love telling you what's going to happen, it's much more important for me to tell you how you are going to make it happen. What feelings and what thought processes are you going through that's going to create this unease? I could just say from this and this date, you're going to feel unease. You know what I'm saying? And the Scorpio's like, bitch, okay. So, you know, like, So for me, it's important, of course, to tell you how it's going to go, and I know that's why you're watching, but I think you're also watching because you desire and you crave that deeper understanding of yourself, because perhaps you've noticed that as you gain that deeper understanding of yourself and the different dynamics at work in you, that your life has gotten easier, that there are situations that you were able to mitigate better and easier because you do understand that you have certain triggers and you have certain things with your pride. And right, I mean, it's not as simple as just saying to a Scorpio, this month don't get mad. You know what I mean? Like, or just saying to a Scorpio, like I do this all the time where I'll say to Scorpios, don't get mad because I'm trying to make you mad. Oh, you thought you were the only people that make people mad to like get something out of them in the flirting department? You could, oh, you didn't realize that Geminis do that to everybody? No, we annoy people. That's how we flirt with people. We annoy them. Yo, I love annoying Scorpio. Oh my God, I love it. So I'm like, hi, I love you. Hi. To my cousins, my female cousin, they're like, bro, get off me. I'm like, I love you so much. You are my angel. They're like, bro, get off me. Like, I don't care. I'm annoying. I don't care. If I love you, I'm annoying to you. I don't care. I will crawl all over you. I don't give a shit. No, I don't care. So yeah, so there's that. So the book will be called The Tarot of Inner Work. It'll be out in the spring. And the best way to keep in touch with me about that and know what's going on with the book and read excerpts and, you know, kind of have a back and forth about what's going in the book and what concepts will be explored, that'll all happen on Instagram, that entire dialogue. So if you guys want to add me, it's at AmberKhan, Khan like Genghis, Khan. Yeah. And, Central Asia in the house. And you can also, the easiest and funnest way to communicate with me actually is on Twitter. Same thing, at AmberKhan, exactly the same handle. And then my Snap is TheAmberKhan. Snap is just basically like, that's a whole other thing. That's like more of the Strange Ramblings channel stuff. That's for the other channel. We've been having a lot of fun on the other channel. And I think if there's a group of people who would really appreciate what's going on over there, it's you guys. Because it's like magic, metaphysics, science. It's physics, science, metaphysics. It's everything. Religion. We're talking about all sorts of stuff. It's super fun. I'm really enjoying it. So check that out. And I'll leave my email address, right? So you can book a reading there. But if you want to book a reading for San Francisco, or if you want to book a phone reading or a Skype or a FaceTime reading, you can go to the Facebook page and go to the shop on the Facebook page and buy it right there through Facebook. And it's secure and you know where your receipt is coming from and everything. And you don't even need to do the back and forth with me over email. So if you prefer that, please go right ahead. Okay, that makes everything easier for both of us. You guys didn't think I was going to do your reading first, did you? You're so mad that I didn't do it yesterday. And now Leos are going to be pissed because they're like, she said she was going to do it and then she fucked the Scorpio first. Of course I did. I'm not stupid. I'm not trying to, like, there's a thing. This is the thing I know about you guys. I can make you mad, but I can't make you too mad. You got to pull back right from the brink before, like, you guys really lose it and you get angry. Because then it's no fun. Who wants to do that? Just poke the bear a little bit. A little bit, not a lot. So, I love you guys. I will see you in May, and mid-month we're going to do an Amber Ramble. This time, the channel is called Strange Ramblings. This time, the talk is going to be on the scientific research that has been out for about a decade right now, totally proven everything about how birth control pills affect your sense of smell and your ability to pick a mate. And it's all based on immunology and genetics. Heavy stuff, really interesting as a female, worth tuning in and taking a look at. It's gonna blow your mind, actually. All right, I love you guys. I will see you in May.